ultimately it all comes down to those same things.
Were you ever an option guy?
Never. I was always an I guy my whole life. I remember when I was playing my senior year, man, we went 3 wides, and I got to be the slot guy. Man, that was like, oh my gosh, they're putting a third receiver on the field and he's in the slot. It was just a huge change up. We ran a little. My junior year, we had a different quarterback, and we decided all that spring that we were gonna be a little bit of an option team, and we went down to Florida and got beat about 35-0, and that was the end of the option for us. We always, most everybody had. You get bear. You see a bear front. Everybody's got a speed option check to that. That's one of the kind of the answers that you always have, and so we've done a little bit of that. But just true option, I've never. Even in high school, we were pro I team. Nothing like that. But we've got option built into what we do. I mean, really, we're running the triple option. We just run it differently. We got a lot of things built in where our quarterback can hand it, he can run it. He can pitch it or throw it. Instead of pitching it, maybe it's a throw. It's just a little different presentation in how we do it.
As the end of the season draws near, does the prospect of being in contention for a BCS bowl game start to motivate the guys?
Sure. I mean, this is when it matters. I mean, this is November the 12th, so it matters. It matters big time. How we play and how we finish, because this is when people really separate. In November. That's everybody just kind of jockeys all of September and October for good position, and we've competed very consistently. Not many teams that started in the top 10 that are still in the top 10, that stayed in the top 10, and our team has kind of hung in there and it has had a really good season to this point. But we're going to be judged on how we finish. And that's what November's all about. It's trying to finish, put your best foot forward, and everybody knows the opportunity. Heck, Georgia Tech, if they can win this game, they're probably at least a share of their division. They still aren't out of going to Charlotte and playing for the ACC title. So everybody is Zoom focused on trying to have the best possible finish and creating the best postseason opportunity for yourself. And we're no different in that regard. This team has got great opportunity. There's BCS opportunity. There's anything can happen. Who knows? But that's why you have to stay focused on the things that you control. So that's what we got to do. We got to play good football. Got off to a good start in November against Virginia, and we got to continue that trend and play our best down the stretch.
Even though Florida State has clinched the trip to Charlotte, finishing 7-1 in your conference, that also something you brought up with the guys?
Sure. I mean, they know the opportunity that's out there, and we just want to be the best that we can possibly be. That's what we want to do every single year. Be a consistent, performing team that's nationally relevant. Ultimately, is what we want to be, and that's why we're on a quest for best. That's what we say every year. We don't ever say, okay, our number one goal is to win the national championship. Well, we might win them all and not get that opportunity. It's because there's things that we don't control, and so then you're a failure. No, you just want to be the best that we can be, and right now the best we can be is 11-1. That's the best we can be within what we control. Are we 10-2? Are we 8-4? Are we 9-3? That's what November's all about. So everybody understands what's at stake, and that's why you do it.
I know you guys will play anywhere, anytime, against anybody, all that stuff. But when the schedule comes out, and you see Thursday night at home against Georgia Tech, you think, man, I'd kind of like to have that one on a Saturday, or just any game at home on a Saturday as opposed to Thursday?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is what it is. You don't really spend a lot of time worrying about it because they're not going to reprint them. So I don't really worry about it. But I mean, I always love playing on Saturdays. I think that's great. But I just say, okay, let's go. Let's get a plan. Let's go play. It really just shouldn't matter.
I asked that just because it seems like there's some drawbacks, like fans can't show up till a few hours before the game.
Yeah.
Limits the amount of guys, recruits you can have on campus.
Sure. There's always, negatives that people can point out, but again, my job is to try to win the game and get our team prepared to play, and that's what I focus on. I mean, I don't really worry about all the other stuff. I mean, if I had a preference, I'd love to play on Saturday. It'd be great. And one of the things about when you play on Saturday, you get a true open date. A lot of people, they say, oh, well, you had a bye this week. Well, we ain't had no bye. We've been practicing. These guys ain't had no day off. I mean, that's just, Saturday was Monday. Sunday was Tuesday. We're out here in pads grinding out on Sunday afternoon. I mean, so it's different from a schedule standpoint. Now our players will get this weekend off after the ball game. They certainly have earned that. But when you have a open date before a Saturday game, it's a different schedule for you. I like that part of it, but it is what it is.
What have you seen from their quarterback, Thadley?
Well, he's played a lot for him. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing. He got a bunch of good work last year. He's got a great just like all the rest of them that have played, Washington and Nesbitt and all of them that have been through there. It all starts with them, and that guy's got to be the catalyst. He's the decision maker, essentially. He's making huge decisions, and he's done a good job. They've had some tough turnovers that have probably set them back a little bit in some of their games, but they've done very well. I mean, just you can look at them. I mean, they're one of the best third down teams in the country. Obviously, always one of the best rushing teams in the country. He's made some big throws. He's made some big throws down the field, and has shown to be a accurate passer. He's just like all the rest of them that have been there. He can run it, he can throw it. He's smart and plays tough. Plays very tough.
You talked about eliminating negative plays. Has there been a common thread there, like maybe edge blocking? Or?
No common thread. It's just a busted assignment, or somebody making a poor decision with what we're supposed to do within the scheme, or somebody getting beat physically, whatever, or maybe it's a back not on the right track. Bouncing something instead of hitting it where he needs to hit it, or a wide out not making a key block. It's across the board. And so, and the next thing you know, you got a negative play. And we need to minimize that. Too many lost yards up there at Virginia. We had 2 sacks that shouldn't have happened. Just shouldn't have happened. And weren't on OL. It just shouldn't have happened. And then we had some just negative plays. I think we lost about 40-something yards in negative play. Rushed the ball pretty doggone good, but you take off a bunch of negative yards. So that's something that we need to improve as we finish this season. Minimizing the negative play. That's one thing about their running back. That's number 20. There's only 2 running backs in the country that have not had one negative play all year. I mean, that's an amazing statistic. As much as they hand the ball to this guy. He's had some zeros, but he's had no negative plays. That's a pretty unique stat right there when you think about it.
With the last week of all the Dolphins bullying and hazing stuff, talking to a couple of guys here, it sounds like that stuff just doesn't happen here. Do you have a policy in terms of how the veterans treat the first and second year players?
I got a policy for how everybody treats everybody. Just treat people with respect and class, and it's just the bottom line. I mean, that's whether it's the janitors here, the secretaries, the freshmen, or whatever. There's always on football teams. You're dealing with young people. There's always going to be harassing and playing around and just foolish type stuff that goes on in locker rooms, but. No, there's no tolerance at all for just poor behavior and treating people with a lack of respect and things like that. But it's one of those things that you just have to constantly reaffirm every year, because you always have new people coming in. It's just always. And so you have to constantly reaffirm your rules, your culture, and that's just part of what you do. But sometimes things happen that coaches have no idea, but when you find out about it, you have to deal with it, and you just, regardless of who it is or what happened, you got to be transparent and you got to be consistent.
Is it hard to believe something like that could happen in any locker room at any level, high school, college, pro?
Bullying, hazing, no, that's not hard to believe at all. It's not hard to believe at all. Happened when we were kids, happened in middle school, happened in high school, happened when I was in college. So, I mean, you always got people that anytime there's people involved in anything, there's going to always be bad character, bad integrity, whatever. Stupidity, because we're people. And we do stupid things, and and if you allow things like that to happen, it'll come back and bite you. And we're far from perfect around here, but we try as hard as we can to do a great job from a character standpoint. And part of our job is correcting character and teaching. And when you can't do it, and you tried and you've done everything you can, sometimes you gotta move on. But no, I'm not surprised that anything like that has happened. I don't know all the details.